What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to a very special Beers and Footy with yours truly. Unfortunately, the boys couldn't make it. They all had prior commitments. But I couldn't let the boys down. I mean, especially on a day like today, it is a day where you don't let the boys down. First of all, let's cheers to the ANZAC. Both my grandfathers fought in the war. It's just I can't put into words as to how much we owe, the men and women of the generations before us. So cheers to the ANZACs. Absolutely incredible what they did for this country. But I guess we'll talk about the game before. Tommy Trbojevic, wow. He is incredible. And you know what aroused me is Michael Innes nearly head exploding from orgasms whilst watching him. That's what aroused me. It was almost a for food moment. Even when Tommy was running, Michael Innes was like, repeatedly, which made me go, for Fafita, even though Fafita's not playing. But what's crazy is the fact that Tommy Trbojevic literally makes Manly Seagulls a top 6 side, maybe top 4 even. They look incredible. Schuster, is he a schmalky for Rookie of the Year? Because he's been a shining light. Even while Manly was struggling and they had the second worst points. This is how crazy Manly's turnaround is. They had the second worst start to a season in the history of the NRL. Worse only than the Cowboys of 2002, and it was by like 2 points. Matter of fact, Manly's start to the year was so bad, they're still in minus points differential, and they've just towed up the Tigers. So, I mean, it just shows you that Tom Trbojevic is a special player. It's a special player. It's the biggest. Oh my God, no! We left the TV off. Pet hate when the TV's off. That's minus $1,000 to my employee. Minus $1,000. Because that is a pet hate. You're gone, Matty the Water Boy. You're gone, bruss. But yeah. See, now I was saying something quite profound and deep, and you've ruined this whole show. As a matter of fact, end of the show. Guys, log off. You don't need to watch nothing. There's nothing to watch because Matty the Water Boy's ruined the show by not turning on the TV. Look how much better it looks with the TV on. But yeah, so Tommy Trbojevic, I don't think we've ever seen a club where their number one priority, literally, their number one priority is making sure Tom Trbojevic isn't injured. I don't think we've ever seen a club with that as their number one priority, because that is truly their number one priority. Like, please don't get injured. We'll try to count in the kickoff too, so you guys can sync up. We'll also make sure I'll keep Matty on his toes. Now that Matty's basically fired, he'll be working extra hard today because he's, mate, talk about fucking hanging on by a bee's dick. He's hanging on by a bee's dick after that stuff up. So we'll try to keep I'll count the kickoff in so we have the right timing in the corner. People are saying do a shoey. It's way too early for that, boys. It is way too early for that. Things are going to get weird enough as it is. We don't need me fucking doing shoeys at the start of the game. Peter Willer says, you seem a little gone, Kempy. Nope, I'm sober as a judge. So, all right, we're about to kick off. We've got the great Tedesco about to kick off. And now, kicked off now. So anyway, about today's game. Dragons v. the Roosters. Look, I think that you'd be crazy if you didn't say that the Dragons have surprised anyone. I don't even think Dragons' own fans thought the Dragons were going to go this good. They have been... I think it's more about the fact that Hook has simplified their game, and I think that Hook has realised that, yes, I mean, that was terrible. Wow. Was that the first tackle? I think that was the first tackle. Wow. That is a coach killer. I think Anthony Griffin's going to step down from his role after that, because that is a fucking coach killer. Offloading like that on the first tackle of a great ANZAC Day clash, that's got to hurt. But so I take back every good thing I just said about St. George. They're the same as last year. Oh, no! Samuel Walker, the cutest kid in the NRL. Oh, what is going on? This is a debacle. This is shocking. Holy shit. Boys, just fucking catch the ball. And they're playing a replay of it too, just to rub it in. This might be the worst start to the game in the history of NRL. This is an absolute shambles. Wow. Talk about, I mean, this is one of those situations, it's 0 from 1 and 0 from 2. Surely that's a record. 0 completions from the first 3 sets. This is an example, though, of, these huge games and everyone is revved up because, Anzac Day means so much to everyone in this country and New Zealand as well. And so, oh, wow. And a penalty. This, just when you think it can't get worse, it gets worse. Wow. But yeah, this is what happens. I mean, another example, 2 revved up, need to calm down, get through your sets. It's not, you don't help anyone by being too revved up. And I think that Melbourne Storm are a perfect example of how often have we ever seen them too revved up? They're so good at staying calm, collected in the big moments. Whereas today we're seeing 2 sides that are pretty much, they've all ran onto the field with boners. You can see. I mean, they're all wearing white shorts, all got boners. And when you're running around with a boner, shit can go real weird, real quick. And it has for both teams. So they need to chill out and just get through their sets. Are they taking the 2? I'd be taking the 2 here. Yeah. Perfect. I mean, this is perfect for the Roosters. Taking the 2, settle down, and everyone's got the jizz out of their system, and just relax, It's like before you go to a date. Boys, give you a bit of advice. You're going on a date and you're thinking about getting lucky. You don't want to go there fully cocked and loaded. Don't go on a date with 6 bullets in the chambers. I'm telling you, boys, because that's a good way to not get a second date. So empty the chamber before you go on the date, boys. Be relaxed. Be romantic. Be chivalrous. Because these boys have gone on a date with a fully loaded... Oh, he's fucking shanked it! This is the worst start to a game in the hit. Oh, my God. Bruh. This honestly could be the worst start to a game I've ever seen. Holy shit. There was no tactical wanks before this game, that's for sure. You know what? Griffin and Robson, they've forgotten to tell the boys, rub one out before you go play footy. Because yous are all fucking fully aroused, too aroused. There's such thing as over-arousal. And it seems like the boys are fucking too aroused. There's a few comments in the comments section. Kempy, what is worse, Broncos or Cronk's commentary? I'm leaning towards Cronk, but it's a photo finish. Look, that's a tough question. I think people need to remember though, it is Cronk's first year as like a full-blown commentator, I'm pretty sure. So like, it's going to take him time to know, the length to speak and, how to speak and, the inflection in his voice with emotion, everything like that. So yeah, give Cronk time. I mean, put it this way. If he can be one of the greatest 7s of all time when he wasn't even a 7, I'm sure he can conquer the commentary world. You know what? I'm sure we'll be talking about Cronk as the GOAT commentator, just like he was went from not a 7 to one of the GOAT 7s. Because, see, look at this. The cameras are moving. Matt's had Matty the Water Boy, he has had a worse start than the game today. Matt is fucking 0 and 6 right now. He has not completed a set the whole day. Kempy, are the Warriors a real chance this over against the Storm? From Angus Mawson. Yeah, absolutely. Fuck. The Warriors and Storm, their clashes have a history of being relatively close. I'm not sure about recent history, but when I played with the Warriors, the worst signing in history of the club, we kind of like, we would always get up for that game. I don't know what it was. We ended up drawing with them and we, struggled that year. Oh, here we go. Oh my God, he's offloaded to the wrong person. This is crazy. Absolute shambles. Look at that moustache. That's fucking arousing. If you're a chick and you see that moustache, there's no way that you're saying no to a date. Look at that. Oops. Yeah, he should have passed there. Fucking definitely should pass there. But that moustache, I'm going to let him off the hook because that moustache is incredible. Where will Manly finish inside the 4? Probably first, in my opinion. Tom sends his regards from Paddy G. Look, maybe they could finish inside the 4. It would be fucking incredible if they did. But look, I want to see Manly play some of the top sides. I'm pretty sure they're playing Penrith next week. That's going to be a real gauge as to where Manly are in the competition because, yes, they've played struggling sides. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Titans aren't necessarily struggling, but they did play pretty poorly, and then they play Tigers that are struggling. If they play solidly, I don't mean they have to beat the Penrith Panthers, but if they play solidly, they absolutely could be a top 4 side if they go well against Penrith. It's a close game, 1-12. If I'm Manly and it's 1-12 against Penrith, I'm happy with that result. Here we go. Norman to Dufty to Sims. Sims finds his front. That's a 3-second play the ball. Cody Ramsey with the long hair and taped ears. Brother Normie. Great kick. Oh, it's bounced up. Oh, it's a try time, baby. It's try time. Jack Bird playing at the 6. Fuck yeah, he says. Woo, he says. You know what? I wish that commentators just repeated what they were saying, because you know what they're saying and the commentators never want to get involved. Brother Normie, that's a great kick because even if it doesn't, you don't score a try, even if you don't get a repeat set, you're getting to complete, they're coming out of their own end, off their own goal line. Look at that, off the right foot, bit of a I'm pretty sure that when his right foot landed, Normie went and that is the reason why that grubber bounced up there beautifully for Jack Bird. I like Jack Bird at 6 actually. I understand if Hunt and Norman are playing, but Jack Bird at 6 with today's style of footy, I think it's actually a genius move. Now, it's going to be interesting to see when Hunt comes back. Does Jack Bird stay at 6 or... I doubt he would because you'd probably go Hunt, Norman. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Here we go. It's the party poopers. Ruin everyone's bloody boners after... All the Dragons fans are about to go flaccid. Lucas Roca, would you pay RTS $1.5 million a season to stay in the NRL? No, I don't think so. Not because he's not incredible, but I mean, look, he's in the NRL currently at $1 million a season, and the Warriors are still struggling. Clearly paying him more money is not going to make them go any better. Wow, Jack Bird's knocked the ball on. I don't know. I want to see another replay of that. I want to see the replay of that again. I was too busy giving you deep insights to RTS. Apologies, boys. From Will Octavius Stokes. Hey, Kempy, big fan of Jack Bird. Why couldn't he have been a gun at the Mighty Broncos? Because he was injured the whole time. And it was all injuries that he couldn't help. These weren't like shitty little injuries that that because he wasn't stretching, he wasn't taking care of himself. None of that. These were just really unlucky injuries. So it was just really unlucky. Jack Bird, people forget, Cronulla don't win that grand final or go on that great run to the grand final if Jack Bird isn't playing as well as he's playing. He was vital in them, playing really well. Also, Jack Bird had a quality debut for Origin. He's a great player, a fantastic player. He just got to be injury-free, which it seems like he is at the moment, which is good. You know who is a fucking great player? Zach Lomax. That for a few years, because the game was so structured, specialist centers really, not taken out of the game, but they just weren't that important. You only really had Latrell and Joey Manu to an extent. I know there were other specialist centers, but Latrell was really the only center, in my opinion, really impacted the game. Don't get me wrong, there would be periods where Joey Manu would or other centers would, but at the time when we had the old rules, I just felt that centers were quite interchangeable because it was so structured. But now with the new, what a run from Bird, with the new rules, I think Zach Lomax is showing, how good Zach Lomax is a specialist center. He just suits the position so well. His defense is fantastic. His ability to, when it looks like there's nothing on, but he's got a one-on-one with his center. Great kick from brother Normie. If he gets out here, I'll get naked. Thank God he didn't. Thank God he didn't. Because let's just say it's freezing in here. It's minus 10 degrees right now. It might not be. I'm just judging off my own barometer, if you know what I mean. My own barometer. It's a mini barometer. I never, think about it. Penises technically could be barometers. When you think about it. I've never thought about it that way, but, they're the same shape. When they're small, it's cold. When they're large, it's hot. I'm just saying, boys. I'm just fucking saying. Kempy, man of the match today for Tigers and Manly game from Carl Bowery. Man of the match, obviously, Tom Trbojevic. Man of the match for the Tigers, honestly, she was a tough night for the Tigers. So I really can't remember anyone that stood out for me in the Tigers side, unfortunately. And that's coming from a Broncos supporter. So I'm not having a crack at the Tigers players. Brother Normie has come out firing. Shows you how important a half that is confident and organising the boys is. Because you'd argue that, Dragons, roster isn't that great. And yet just because they've got guys like McCulloch and Hunt in key positions that have played together. Oh, it's a try time, baby. It's Sims. It's Sims. Oh, by the way, you know that picture with the shadow that, makes him look like he's got a small barometer? That's fake. Just so you know, that's fake news. That was actually photoshopped. That's great from the Dragons. Wow. I actually picked the Dragons. I think the Dragons have been playing great. Really great footy. It took the Warriors to go 40 from 41 sets to just squeeze out a win. And the Dragons really should have won that game. Look at this. This is smart. It's Tedesco. It's so smart from Macca. Because the thing is, a lot of people don't realise is on the line, especially when you're on the try line, usually what they'll do is they'll put their one, as in their fullback, right beside the play the ball, so that you can step your player outside you. You can push your defensive line a bit further out, creating an illusion of more numbers than what you have. And what I mean by illusion is, let's say Macca passes long. What would happen is Teddy would run up and then he would dip in behind his team to track the kick. So it's kind of an illusion because Teddy doesn't really want to stay in the line that long. He's only going to get up maybe a metre or two and then he's going to dip in behind the line. Whereas Macca has identified that and seen, okay, well, if you want to sit there, we need you to be a real defender. You're not the biggest body. We got big barometer Tariq Sims running at you, and that's what happens. So great start from the Dragons. More questions. Hey, Kempy from Harry Innes. Do you think that the Roosters should go to the market for a hooker or develop the guys they have there? Look, I think Sam Verrills is not far away from being back. Wasn't he back potentially this week? Yeah. So they're sweet. Verrills is a gun. So I don't think they need to go to the market at all. Nathan D. BM Comps HD on YouTube. Kempy, thoughts on Cowboys signing Townsend? Possible Townsend-Val combination next season? Yeah, of course. I think that's definitely a potential reason why they did sign Townsend, but it's also just about experience. He's not the flashiest player, but they clearly need experience in the halves with Michael Morgan gone. He's still playing decent footy. He does have a history with Val. I think the plan for the Cowboys is to hopefully get Tom Dearden. That way Townsend can partner and mentor him. So I think it's I don't think it's a bad signing at all. Also, you've got to from D Jennings, not hating, but why are you on delay? We're on delay because that's all, it has to be on delay. It's not live. The stream is always, there's nothing we can do about that. It's always, 10, 15 seconds behind. At the moment, I'll count you in. Right now, we're at 27:41, 40, 27:39, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 27:30 right now. There's not much we can do. From Groovy Glue, thoughts on Dogs' first win of the year? Fair play to them. I absolutely did not have them winning that game, but they had a real dig. They had a massive dig. They'll get a lot of confidence from that. Osa! Ravawalawa, straight in the bloody rib tickler. What a hit. Man, look how thick his body is. Wow. Wow, Morris is like, God damn, maybe I should retire. This is fucked. What am I doing? I scored heaps of tries. I've got to deal with this giant. Wow. That is straight in the... sir! Oh, that's Josh Morris. Apologies. Josh Morris is like, man... Oh, it's a shoulder charge. Oh, man. I don't know, man. Oh, man. I mean, maybe by the letter of the law, but come on, bro. Oh, I mean, yeah, yes and no. I mean, mate, look, letter of the law, yes, but it sucks that, we have to be this pedantic about a tackle like that, especially when it was nowhere near the head. Tom Tavaski, K. Kempe, what do you honestly reckon is going to happen to Adam Reynolds? Where do you think he will go? I think he'll be at the Sharks. I think Broncos would be crazy if they don't make a play at him, but I think he'll end at the Sharks. It's in Sydney. They'll offer him. They've got heaps in the cap. He would be great for them. He's a premiership winner. Sharks would be absolutely insane not to have a go at him. What's interesting, though, is that if Moses... Oh, you got to stay in there. Wow. Great from Morris. I mean, this is the champagne Morris that I'm talking about. Gets absolutely oosed in the ribs, gets back up, and sets a try up. And it was great defence from Zach Lomax as well. Usually most people get stepped on the inside there. Zach Lomax still managed to make the tackle. Ravalawa has to rely on his inside to help Zach. He doesn't need to come... Look at this. Bird would have got there. You have to trust your inside. This is great. This is great from Walker as well and from Hutchinson. You have to trust your inside there. I know it's tough because, his hands are free, but if he... You never, you've got to trust it. You've got to trust it. You can't afford to come in like that and... Now it is purely the winger's fault that try was scored. Purely because Zach Lomax made his tackle. Look, he makes his tackle. Bird was going to get there. Yeah. And Ravalawa, he puts his hand up. He knows. And that's all about combinations. If in 2 years' time they're still playing together and Ravalawa is still doing that, that's the real issue. But as they play more footy together, they will begin to realise, look, I know that... I know Lomax is going to make the tackle. I know he's going to make the tackle, so I'm just going to stay out and trust him because that's a really good defensive centres play there. Like, usually defences get completely stepped on the inside. Lomax made the play. Ravalawa, unfortunately, has let Lomax down there, and he knows it. It's very hard in a split second. We watch this in slow-mo and we watch repeats and we know what's going to happen. It's very easy, but in saying that, it is Ravalawa's job to stay out. Okay, thoughts? Sean Workman, thoughts on Talakai getting 6 weeks for his shot on Matt Dury? So it's 4 to 6 weeks. If he takes an early guilty plea, it's 4 weeks. If he fights it, it's 6 weeks. Look, this is one of those things where I'm with most people. Fucking great shot. I'm also of the argument that I'm not so sure that the initial contact was with the head. I think it was the whiplash that brought his chin down into it. Now, the problem is they are trying to protect head knocks. And there's nothing we can do about it. The NRL are trying to protect head knocks. And I understand the argument of people saying, well, fuck, if we just keep going down this route, there'll be no big hits. And I'm with you. But what can the NRL do, really? They're between a rock and a hard place. If they don't do enough, they open themselves up to future lawsuits, to sponsors saying, we're not going to be a part of something because you're not putting the health of the players first. And if they do too much, then you've got fans going, well, fuck, that's hurting the spirit of the game. I think that it's just one of those situations where I'm not convinced he hit him in the head, but I understand why the NRL needs to do what it's doing. I wish they didn't have to. I wish that we could see hits like that, but unfortunately times have changed, man. There's nothing we can, times have just changed. I thought it was an incredible shot. I think that the real issue now is that the NRL has backed themselves into a corner in the sense of Latrell gets 4 weeks for an innocuous elbow where he wasn't looking. and people say, oh, he did other things that game. Well, that's not how the MRC works. Like, he got the fine for the 2 other incidences. That doesn't count towards that incident. They all need to be reviewed separately. But the problem is you have to say now is, how is Latrell getting 4 weeks and Talakai also getting 4 weeks, when you would argue that Talakai, if you believe, which the NMRC do, if you believe he did make contact with the head, and if you believe it was a shoulder charge, which they say it is, how is that the same as Latrell? How is that? Like, Latrell isn't even as close to as dangerous as that. So they've really backed themselves into a corner with that the Latrell ruling. Even the Hetherington ruling and the Momorowski ruling, like, I just think that, like, the Hetherington one, yes, I understand he had loading, but, like, 5 weeks, it just seems so excessive. I do know people, in the MRC or whatever, that they've been told from the NRL they have to go harder on anything to do with the head. So it's actually not the MRC that is doing this. It's the NRL saying go harder. But we've got a great game on our hands. Fantastic game on our hands. Do you reckon, from Jeremy Miller, do you reckon Victor will be 13 for New South Wales? No, I don't think so. Purely because, he's only 3 games back at the moment. And I just think you've got guys like Cam Murray and Isaiah Yeo that have played a lot of footy for quite a while and played really well. Like, Cam Murray's playing outstanding. I think, if you don't go Jerome, Cleary, if you go like Whiten, Cleary, or Walker, Cleary, you definitely put Murray starting there. But if you go Jerome, Cleary at 6 and 7, then you would consider putting Yeo there. I still think individually Cam Murray's been playing better, but the combination of Jerome, Cleary could be something that really works in Isaiah Yeo's favour. I do think that Radley will be definitely in the squad. Just depends how he plays over the next few weeks. It really depends, because last week, he missed quite a few tackles, which I'm sure he's a bit upset about. The week before he was really good. But that rust, he's still got rust. Like, Victor Radley is incredible, and he's so important to the Roosters. They basically, without him, they are a very different side. But he's a human being. It's going to take him a bit to just get back into the rhythm of things, especially at role at 13. Like, honestly, Tommy Tui, surely Yeo is better than Murray. I watched both games, and I think that. If you really watch Murray and watch the work he gets through and how important he is, even when he did play Origin, like, people forget, when Murray made his debut and came on, his leg speed and fast play the ball completely changed the momentum of the game. Go back and watch Cam Murray's Origin debut. In a game that's already fast, with Murray that can make it faster and can get through the fast work, he is really fucking important to that side. So look, don't get me wrong, I think Yeo is fucking incredible, but I think because you don't see Murray doing the flashy plays, you don't really see the quality work that he gets through. So I think right now it's between it all hinges on Jerome and Cleary, or Whiten and Cleary, or Walker and Cleary. Whoever gets picked in the halves, I think that will have a huge say in who plays 13 for New South Wales. But at the moment, I would say it's between Murray and Isaiah Yeo, with Radley coming off the bench. But the only problem with that is that you want to have little Pappy on the bench, and if you put Radley on the bench, you could argue it's a bit of a small bench. You could have 2 other big boys, but you probably want to have Pappy as a small fella and then 3 big boys coming off the bench. So look, the positive is that, again, New South Wales are spoiled for riches, absolutely spoiled. Big Red Chicken. You go on Magic Round Beak? No, I'm not actually. But I will. Magic Round is when Broncos play Manly. So Hello Sports, obviously, Hello Sport podcast will do beers and footy with me. It's going to be a fucking big game. Obviously, Broncos are going to turn it around and absolutely towel Manly up by maybe 40, 50 points. But yeah, so make sure, guys, beers and footy, Magic Round. That's tackled in the air. Okay, that's a penalty. Silly. So silly. That is a coach killer. Because if he lets him land, he takes him in goal. Oh, silly. Oh, wow. Oh, he just had to hold off there. I mean, good effort from Mitchell. I think Drew Mitchell has been solid, for the Roosters since coming in. Kempe, who's been your MVP so far this season? Oh, wow. Who's been... Reid Marnie has been really good, but I think you'd have to say, obviously Tom Trbojevic since he's been back, but you'd have to say Nathan Cleary. Like every single game, he has been so influential in all the performances. Like even when his team played poorly against the Broncos, he still was the clincher. And they're undefeated. Like you just can't. He is just so clinical and cutthroat. Like there's never a moment where you're sitting there going, "What the fuck are you doing, Cleary?" Like every decision he makes is the right one, pretty much. Oh, wow. That is... Robson's going to fight his players when he gets... Could you imagine Robson sitting there going, did you just let go of that tackle? Wow. I really like Bird at 6, man. I really do. Oh, Sim's playing well. Great offload. Here he goes. Brother Normie. Dufty puts on the boot and kicks it over the stadium. Dufty just kicked the ball over the stadium. What's doing? Hold the ball, bro. That's silly, man. See, that's what separates like the good teams from the great teams, or even the solid teams. Like there's no need for that. Just complete. Unless maybe it was a fifth tackle. But if it wasn't, just complete the set, bro. Has Hook been the turnaround, or Dragons having a dig this year from Brad Grimshaw? Hook's absolutely been a part of the turnaround. Hook is a good coach. Like people forget, and okay, this is what happens. And Hook is the perfect example of a guy that can get smeared by a club trying to make it look like they made the right decision. And don't get me wrong, in the long run, Penrith absolutely made the right decision, but they didn't like. The two things are not mutually exclusive. They didn't have to make it look like Hook was this, hard to deal with coach whilst also getting Ivan Cleary. Like clearly getting Ivan Cleary was the right decision. But we have to remember, Penrith were 4th when he got sacked. That's a good coach. And that's the sad thing sometimes about when, oh, wow, that hurts. Drew Mitchell dropped the ball. Sorry, not Drew Mitchell. Hutchinson, Drew Mitchell, fucking rugby union, come out of retirement and fucking playing footy. And that's the sad thing, is that a coach or a player can get smeared enough by a club where we forget, like, this is a good coach. Like, even look at the Broncos. The Broncos, it has proven they're not such an easy side to coach. Anthony Griffin took them to the finals every year except for 1 year. Then he went to the Penrith Panthers, and yes, they weren't like, top of the... there were periods where they were, but they were a top 4 side when he got sacked. Anthony Griffin is a solid NRL coach that, isn't that old either, and I think that he's a huge reason... Like, put it this way, it's Anthony Griffin's decision to move McInnes on and get Andrew McCulloch. Andrew McCulloch has arguably been a top 3 hooker this year, and... he is getting paid probably half of what McInnes is getting paid. That's a masterstroke from Anthony Griffin. A masterstroke. And on top of all that, I'm not sitting here saying that McCulloch is a better player at the moment than McInnes. Like, McInnes was playing incredibly. But sometimes there's more to footy than ability. Combinations are so, so important. Look at Ben Hunt and Corey Norman. Like, individually when they play with other players, they seem to struggle. But bringing that band back together with McCulloch, that combination has put them into, one of the top sides at the moment. And they're currently leading the Roosters and playing really well. So I think Hook has identified that, rugby league is about more than just the numbers you put out, the ability. And, you could even use Cam McInnes. Cam McInnes is a fantastic player, puts up these huge numbers. And I think that if a club used him correctly, going to be incredible. Yet it just didn't seem to add what they needed. Ben Hunt and Corey Norman needed at the time. I think he's going to be outstanding at the Sharks. What's interesting as well is they've bought McInnes as lock for the Sharks. So it's going to be interesting to see how he goes there. Jay Harris, do you think the Warriors can beat the Storm? Absolutely. Asiata at 13, Carrigan onto the bench. Kempe or what, brother? That's from Nick Kajaweski. Sorry, bro. I've been saying this for weeks now. Asiata needs to be 13, and I think Carrigan is a great front rower. I would be starting Hassan Carrigan. I would be bringing on Lodge from the bench. And and putting Lodge on for small minutes because he's really impactful when he gets on there for 10, 15 minutes, whereas Carrigan can play long minutes. So can Haas. So I think that you look at all the teams that are at the bottom of the table or close to, they have these big 13s that aren't really ball players, whereas all the top teams, well, most of them anyway, you look at the Roosters, you look at Radley, you look at Rabbitohs, you got Murray, you look at the Storm, who have Cheese that goes there and rotates with Nelson's. They've got quite a different setup, but they at least put that smaller guy there for periods of the game. Nomi with the footwork, giving a bit of the business, baby. So, yeah, I think that the game has surpassed your ball player your lock needs to be able to ball play. And I'm not saying, like Carrigan, I think he's a great front rower. Gets through a ton of fucking work. Heart of a lion. I absolutely love him at the club. Like, they're talking about 18 players being under the microscope to be moved on from the club at the Broncos. Carrigan, in my opinion, is not one of them. I love his attitude. He has a fucking red-hot crack every single week. Yes, he has a few errors in him, but you can develop that out of people's games. What's next? Angus Mawson, where do you think Milford will go next year? Do you think Hook will snatch him up? No, I don't think Hook will snatch him up. I think that it all really just depends. How much is he asking? Oh, no. Oh, he's off again. It's Billy Burns. It's Billy Burns with the moustache and the mullet. Great name, Billy Burns, and a mullet. Kempy, Luciana, play 13 for the Tigers from Ashustosh Bidkar. Sorry if I said that wrong, bro. Yeah, that's interesting. Like, he's a decent ball player, but he's such a damaging wide running forward. I don't know if you want to mess with that. I do think Alex Twal is a front rower and not a 13. And I said that a few weeks ago. Like, again, you look at the struggling sides at the bottom. They play in these big boys in the middle, and I just think the game is past that. It's way past these. Like, Alex Twal is fucking great run from Bird. Oh, great tackle there. Dragons looking dangerous, and I'm loving Bird at 6 because he's around the ball more. What was that? What was that? It's a third tackle, man. What's doing? Penalty. Oh, no, he's had an absolute Barry Crocker. It's not a penalty at all. I bet, like, it's the third tackle. Again, Dufty involved in these early tackles. Like, you're 6-4 up. It's in the first half. It is not necessary, in my opinion. McCulloch needed to be smarter there and be like, no, like, it's not necessary. Let's build pressure. We're down at their end. We're dominating field position. Why do we need to score every set? Silly. Smack on the bum. If he was my kid, I'll be smacking him on the bum. Say, mate, do that again, you get another smack. That's what it was. That's a really interesting thing about Dufty is, like, fucking great running game, and he has these moments of brilliance. And I'm not saying that that's only his fault. He's just supplying options for McCulloch. It's McCulloch's. He's the veteran. He has to make the choice. And then, so I just think McCulloch, like, he has yet to receive a contract offer as well from the Dragons. And I think that's, you see these pockets of brilliance from Dufty. But then you see, sometimes he makes a few errors, or in defence he, might switch off. Last week, we saw he switched off one or two times, and you could argue that if he didn't switch off in defence, they win that game against the Warriors. And that's where, if you're going to sign someone, you're not just going to sign Dufty on a 1 year. If you're going to give him a solid contract, you can't really afford for that to happen. So it's going to be really interesting for the Dragons going forward. If they... Surely that's not a head high. That's not a head high! Was that... Matty, speak to me. That is high contact. Are you kidding me? What is going on? How is that a penalty? The dude was literally a centimetre from the ground and he slipped and it barely hit him. That's just stupid. Like, that's taking the piss. Like, I know I want to, like, not give head highs and that, but that is taking the piss. Michael Lancer, are the Eels pretenders or serious contenders? I think they're serious contenders. I think they're absolutely serious contenders. Like, I don't get the rhetoric about like Eels not being serious contenders. They finished top 3 last year, pretty sure. Yes, they didn't have a good finals run, but neither did the Roosters. And no one's sitting here saying the Roosters aren't contenders. And then you're going to say, well, the Roosters went back to back. But yeah, that was 2 years ago. Like, you know, the Eels have consistently improved. The Eels have each year gotten better. Yes, each year they got bounced out final set, but each year they've finished higher on the ladder. Man, the Dragons going in sets to the line of Roosters has been not that great since the start of the game. Since early in the game. At the start of the game, it was really good, really structured. They were really sure about what they were doing. But ever since then, they have really struggled once they got down there, which is just simplify it. You know, hit short, go again. Hit short, go again. Back to the Eels. Look, I think they're absolutely a real title threat. Look at their roster. And the difference between maybe this year and last year is they're putting teams to the sword, like Raiders, the Broncos, like they beat the Storm. Like, you know, I think they're doing better I think they look better than they did last year. Again, oh man, great tackle from Ramsey. The counter is 6:47, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 6:40, 6:40. That's where we're at in the game. Great defense from the Dragons here. Desperation. Set restart. Tupanua's done it. Oh, no, he's held up. He's held up. Ramsey, what do you reckon? In the comment section, try or no try? Wow. Imagine Satilli standing next to you blowing up in your face. I'll be scared. What do you reckon? Try or no try? Oh, surely not. Oh, no. Wow, that's what's really worrying with Tedesco is this is another serious head knock. Wow, that's on report. Oh, fuck, that's bad, man. Mate, he might be off. He might be off. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I absolutely 100% agree with that. It's reckless. It's dangerous. You just cannot do that. He's honestly lucky he didn't get sent off, purely. I know he didn't mean to. I know he's just trying to, pull a big hit off. But, yeah, absolutely reckless. Look at that. Oh. Yeah. He's in trouble. He is honestly in trouble. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, I think, Jordan's a fantastic bloke, so don't mix the fact that he accidentally hit him high, with him being a bad bloke. It was reckless, but he didn't mean to hit him high. Tedesco was slipping. Tedesco was absolutely slipping, but it is your responsibility. That was like really reckless. So I agree with the 10 in the bin there. I do. Again, Jordan didn't mean to do it. Don't sit here and be like, oh, he fucking intentionally hurt him. No. He was trying to pull up a big hit. Tedesco slipped, but you have to be more careful than that in today's game. Yeah, I understand he slipped. People in the comment section, I understand he slipped. That's why he probably wasn't sent off. But it's your responsibility. Like, you can't, even if he slips like that, you can't be flying in, swinging the arm like that. You've got to be careful. You've got to be careful. You just can't afford to. Yeah. Like, guys, I get he's fell into it. I totally get that. But he still swung his arm and hit him high. It is the defender's responsibility. If they held him up here, it'd be incredible. It's still the defender's responsibility to keep an eye on the target. Make sure they're not swinging their arm like that. So I think that 10 in the bin is fair. I understand that he slipped. That may save him from getting, a few longer weeks, but I do think he'll get... I mean, guys, like we just saw Talakai, who arguably you could argue he didn't hit his head, and he's going to get 4 to 6 weeks. So, yeah, I think... Nah, that's reckless. Word up from YouTube doesn't reckon it's not reckless. That's absolutely reckless. That's the definition of reckless. Like, you come flying in like that, and the onus is on you to not hit someone's head high. So yeah, I think it was reckless. Reckless doesn't mean intentional, guys. Reckless is the basically means like you need to control yourself more to reduce the risk of head highing someone. So. Again, wasn't his intention, but a huge, big play in the game.
There is a grading system, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Where intentional is actually above reckless.
Yeah, exactly. Mitigating circumstances. It's like, again, guys, I know he slipped into it, and I'm not saying Jordan absolutely meant to do it, not at all, not as slightest. But in today's game, it's the defence's responsibility to make sure that doesn't happen. And it's one of those unfortunate incidences where, he goes in hard and, he went for the big hit and it didn't work out. And that's the unfortunate thing. So, and you got to remember, from a Roosters fan's perspective and a Roosters team perspective, they now lose a man for the whole game and potentially for a few weeks after. Like, I'm pretty confident that they'll probably rest Teddy next week. He had a massive head knock at the end of last year, like gigantic. And he's had a few head knocks. So, look, I think 10 in the bin is good. I think you're looking at probably 2 to 3 weeks, maybe. But I want to just reiterate, Jordan didn't mean to do it. I'm not saying that at all. It's just a reckless attempt that didn't go right. And also, people in the comments section that do they get to use their 19th man or 18th man? Yes, they do get to use their 18th man because it's considered like not intentional, but it was foul play in a sense. Like, it's a penalty and he head hired him, and so Tedesco's off. It's not like an accidental kind of thing. Like, it is accidental, but it was still considered foul play. Yeah, Sonny Ellis, I've spoken about the Talakai tackle. It's just a matter of, I actually think that I would love to see more footage, but I actually think it's the head whip forward that makes him make contact with the head. And I think it was an incredibly good shot, great fucking shot. But the NRL is in between a rock and a hard place. What do? Do you go, all right, we allow those kind of hits to happen, and then we open ourselves up to lawsuits in the future because we don't take care of the players' health, and then also sponsors get upset because of all of the drama around head knocks and that. So the NRL is in a hard spot. It's a fucking great tackle, but unfortunately, it's just one of those things where it just went slightly wrong, and also you could make I think the biggest issue was it a shoulder charge, and that's where I'm not sure. I just don't know. Well, if he connects with him and he doesn't bounce off so hard, does his arm wrap around him then? I'm not sure. So, again, I understand why the NRL has to... I wish it wasn't the case. I wish there wasn't so much issues around brain trauma and that, but it's just a tough thing, man. It's just tough. But, 10 years ago, fucking great hit. But we're in different times now, and there's nothing we can do about it. You know what? Dury, how fucking tough is he? No one's giving him raps. He got fucking Erster! And literally bounced back up, played the ball, and was still rattled. So fucking fair play to him. Tough as fuck. And then he's pushing the trainer away whilst fucking fair play to him. Wow, great run. Look at the big fella. Look at him stride out. He's away. Oh, Bird again. Oh, 6 again. There we go, Radley. Crossfield kick. Bad kick. Didn't get enough depth in it. Great catch from Morris. Wow, they've still got plenty of tackles up their sleeve. Satilli down the short side. Oh, and he gets tackled. Manu in with hooker. Great ball to Walker. Walker off the left foot again. Steps, offload. Try time. It's a try for Butcher. A bit of Walker magic. Walker's on. That's great from Walker. Fucking left foot, ass. Left foot, ass. And then offload. That's what you call champagne footy. Look at that line. That's where we're talking about Victor Radley's ball playing. You need a ball-playing lock. So fucking good from Radley. So important to the Roosters and such a fucking good player. You know what? I can't. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Us. And then Bosa. That is champagne footy. Look at this. I'll do it again. Us. Offload. How good's that? That's a bit of magic. That's a bit of magic, baby. That is heartbreaking for the Dragons because you could argue for the first 25, they were pretty dominant. Well, not dominant, but they were very fucking in the game. Damn, that's got to break your heart. Nat Butcher, he's a good player. I like Nat Butcher. Right on halftime, that is a sting in the ring. That's straight up the ringer, no lube. You know, you can go into halftime at 10-6 or fucking potentially 16-6. That hurts. Okay, into the comments section. From Brule619 on YouTube, agree because that's how things are, but I disagree with the ruling. Fully feel like if the player falls into a tackle that's in motion, then should be play on. Yeah, it's just tough though. Like, then whose responsibility is it? Are you saying that it's the defender's response? Then is it the attacker's responsibility? You know what I mean? Like, is it the attacker's responsibility to avoid his arm? Then it becomes this real weird grey area. Whereas, like, if you say, look, defender's responsibility, it's much clearer. Like, because a defender can make a tackle without, you know, going that hard. Whereas an attacker, he can't like not run as hard, or he doesn't know where the tackle's coming from. He's in more of a vulnerable position because the defender is reacting to him rather than the attacker usually reacting to them. So I understand where you're coming from. Like, I totally understand the concept of like, look, if he's slipping into it, what's Pereira fucking supposed to do? I get that. But if you don't have the ruling that it's the defender's responsibility, you just leave yourself open to like, well, you know, was he fully slipping? Was he half slipping? You know, did he intentionally, you know, duck? Like, it's tough. Look at it. It's Roger the Schnack Vasashek. Angus Mawson, who do you think gets a spoon this year? I think probably, to be honest, the Dogs, Tigers, or the Broncos are probably in the running at the moment. Ryan O'Riordan, haha, this sucks. What else we got here? John Ernst, yeah, don't fucking slip over. Bro, like, I mean, I'm pretty sure Tedesco didn't choose to slip over, whereas Pereira chose to come in that hard. That's the thing. Like, you just can't. Boss Gaming, would you rather have Sivo or Paulo running at you? Well, neither, bro. Are you serious? They're both fucking huge. Probably, I mean, I guess the good thing about Paulo is like he's not that quick, so he wouldn't be able to step me, but both of them are fucking going to trample me. So it's like, how do I want to get knocked out? That's pretty much what you're asking. Yeah. Brule619. Yeah, bro. Brule619, I totally get where you're coming from, bro. Like, I totally get it. Anyone that's sitting there going, oh, fuck, he slipped over, like, you got to not slip. I get where you're coming from, but it's too hard to police if you say it's, you know, you can't slip over. Shine Tiltson Collins. Dogs probably get the spoon, I reckon. Broncos and Tigers have a squad to get a couple wins this year. Yeah, look, I mean, I tend to agree, but I don't know. Ben Hunt on the bench if Bird keeps this up. Oh, I don't know. No, I think Benny Hunt comes back into it. But I think that I like, you know, maybe you go Ben Hunt, Norman, and you go Bird at 13. Because currently, who's their 13? For Tyrell? Tyrell's good, but I think Tyrell could be a good wide running forward or a good impact player. Whereas I like Bird at 13 could be good. Rip Snorted G. Hey, Kempy, are Dearden and Croft the answer? Who should Brisbane go for with all these halves on the market? Sean Johnson or Mitchell Moses and Adam Reynolds? So Tedesco has been ruled out, guys, which is, again, kind of backs the point. But yeah, I like Bird goes Mick McIntyre. I like Bird goes to 13 as well. Shine, Bird lock would be very dangerous. Yep, I think so. Rip Snorted G. Are Croft and Dearden the answer? Look, I don't think so. I don't think Croft and Dearden the answer. I think, you know, you probably, if you did keep Croft, then if you did keep Dearden, you would need to get someone else. I think Adam Reynolds would be the perfect fit for the club. Great kicking game, heaps of composure, experienced. You know, he would be able to attract other players. I think he would be a good if we did keep Milford on a cutthroat price, I actually think him and Milford would be really good because Milford's a similar player to Walker. Look, I think if we keep Reynolds, I think we make a play to keep Reynolds. If we get Reynolds, I think we make a play to keep Milford on a cutthroat price, and we can take Milford back to no kicking, none of that shit. Like, yes, he's got a good 12 bomb, but don't worry about it. Reynolds kicking so good, we don't need to worry about it. And I actually think a Reynolds-Milford partnership could revitalise the Broncos. But the only problem is I don't think Reynolds wants to move to Queensland. I think he wants to stay in Sydney. Moses is a little bit different in the sense that he doesn't have as many runs on the board as Reynolds does, but I would be targeting... my order would be to target... It would go Reynolds, Moses, and then Johnson. Only because Johnson, he is a semi-structured half now, but he's not as structured as we need right now. Right now, we need a half that's going to lead the team around the park, and then we can start to get flair. Now, if we could somehow land fucking, Moses and Johnson, or fucking Reynolds and Johnson, that would be incredible, but I doubt it. It's gonna. Broncos absolutely need to land one of those players. So that's what I think. Chris Thompson, when am I coming up to Brizzy? I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe soon. Maybe not. Who knows? That's something I was going to say earlier, and I've just been reminded. What would be really interesting if Moses goes to Brisbane. Reynolds to Para, wow, that would be fucking... Para, with his kicking game and Dylan Brown outside him, wow, that would be pretty fucking special. And with Gutho, I honestly think that at this, right now with Moses, still at the club, and this doesn't seem like the Eels want to let him go at the moment, you'd think Reynolds would land at the Sharks, but I do think that Reynolds' management may be holding off to see what happens at the Eels. Because I think in his preference, if you're Reynolds going to the Eels, already a top 4 side, that's a fucking dream to end your a storied history club like the Eels. And could you imagine if Reynolds takes them to their first premiership? That's fucking Boner Town right there. That's what we talk about folklore. Chris Green, when are you coming to Newey? I've been to Newey, brah. I went to Newey and did taste testings for a few days. Should have come and seen me. I'm off you. Kempy, can you remember the biggest spray you got at halftime from a coach, and who was the coach? Not really. I can't remember most of my career, to be honest. It all kind of blurs into one. Anthony Griffin has a good spray in him. Wayne doesn't really spray. Ivan Henjak's got a bit of a spray in him. Mick McIntyre from Facebook. Thoughts on what Tigers should do if you haven't spoken about it already? We were in the game for the first 30, then just completely... Look, I think it's... they've had plenty of different rosters, and they've gone backwards. So I think clearly their decision-making above the roster is the issue here. Because they've had plenty of people come and go throughout, coaches, teams, everything, and still... They're actually getting worse. Ivan Cleary at the club, they came 9th, and now in the next year they came 11th when he left, and now they're coming 14th or something. So I think they need the administration and the club need to really make some tough calls internally. I'm sure they are. I'm sure they're reviewing everything, but they need to review themselves and start making some tough decisions on their recruitment. I mean, put it this way, to think Benji Marshall, the loss of Benji Marshall and the way he was, taken out from the club last year could arguably be one of the worst recruitment is... Just wait, sorry, just listening. Yeah, so Anasta is saying that he believes that he should have been sent off, Pereira. which is interesting. It's going to be interesting. Again, I think the NRL has backed themselves into a corner. If Latrell Mitchell's getting 4 weeks and Momorowski got 3 weeks and Hetherington's getting 5, fuck. Like, the length of suspension that they're going to have to dish out to some really bad things is going to be ginormous. But yeah, Tigers. Back to Benji. The way Benji was let go. So a lot of people will look at Tedesco as one of the biggest losses that the Tigers have ever had. And 100% right. Tedesco is one of the biggest losses I've ever had. But the difference there is that the Tigers offered and wanted to try to keep Tedesco. And he got a big offer from superstar. First, he got an offer from Raiders, and then he decided not to go. And then he got a great offer from the Roosters, a premiership club. So there's a factor in there that you're like, look, I can understand. They tried to keep him and they couldn't. The problem with the Benji Marshall loss is he literally didn't even have another club that was keen, could barely get a club, and he found out in the media. And I think that is a reflection, like, if that isn't a reflection of poor recruitment and poor roster management, I don't know what is. Like, to let him find out in the media, and he has to go in and say, "Are you just getting rid of me?" And they go, "Oh, I'll let you know." And they come back, "Yeah, sorry, we're getting rid of you." I just think that, like, why is the spotlight not on those decisions there rather than the playing group? Don't get me wrong, the playing group still are responsible for what they do when they get out there. But there's been plenty of playing groups for the Tigers, and they made the finals 3 times in the last 20 years. They haven't made the finals since 2011. So since then, they've had heaps of different players and still can't make the finals. So clearly above, the decisions that put those rosters together and create the cultures and all that kind of stuff, it needs to be looked at, in my opinion. In my opinion, it needs to be looked at, and I think Benji Marshall is a clear example, a club legend being treated like that, and being let go when no other clubs wanted him. They could have given him the minimum. You telling me that and they've gone backwards. They were 11th last year. Now they're sitting 14th. And they've gone 1-6. The first time in the club's history. The first time since they've merged, West Tigers have gone 1-6. And they let Benji Marshall go, that didn't have an offer from any club. And he found out essentially when the year ended, and he found out in the media. If that's not an issue, I don't know what is. If that's not a bigger issue than the way the players are playing, then I think it's a bigger issue in my opinion. From Lewis Biffin, can Carmichael save the Broncos? Well, of course not. It's one player is not going to save the Broncos. Anthony Seibold comes in, makes a bunch of massive decisions, and unfortunately, we're still facing the consequences of those decisions. Like, think about it. Like, so we've lost Josh Maguire, Cody Nikorima, Dave Fafita. Like all of these players in experienced positions we lost that he chose to move on that would be really important for the club. Not only that, like clearly him and Darius Boyd didn't for some reason see eye to eye. So we had our premier player not playing well because he clearly wasn't happy at the club towards the end there. And I just think that it's going to take, we have to rebuild our entire roster because Seibold came in and chose his roster for better or worse, and it hasn't worked. And the problem is we've gotten rid of all of our big players, and we've re-signed some of the younger players that on longer term deals that, unfortunately just aren't they just need more time, in my opinion, to develop. And I think the biggest issue with the Broncos is we brought too many young guys in too soon and didn't give them time to develop. You look at a guy like Coates. Coates is a fucking gun. Like, he is so fucking good. And yet he still makes errors in his game that would be gone from his game if he had a little bit more time to develop before coming into first grade. Whereas he hasn't had the luxury of that. And so, we watched on the weekend, sometimes he jams in. He has, I think he's second in the NRL right now for handling errors. And I'm not having a crack at Xavier. Again, I think he's fucking incredible. I'm just saying that decisions above our squad currently have let the young fellas down. These young fellas with the right, guidance are fucking world beaters in my opinion. But unfortunately, all our experience left. So yeah. Nodus Dis. YouTube. Kempy, can Turbo save the Broncos? Fucking clearly fucking Turbo can save anyone. Fuck me dead. From Jordan Whitehorn, Maguire needs to go. Look, I'm not sure. I don't know who needs to go or whatever. All I know is the people making the decisions above the Tigers at the moment, they need to review themselves. They need to change something because it's clearly not working. Matthew Lassick. Kempy, is it true that you and Yayi has a scrap at the Broncos and you got proper dusted? No. Fucking proper dusted, wow. No. So we were on the beers and we're all on the beers at a team drink and like we all went into the changing room and there was people and like so Yayi got in there and there were people like chanting like players' names, like forwards' name, like chanting them, and no one got in. And then everyone started chanting my name, and we had a we boxed each other, all in good fun. It wasn't crazy, but there was no. I guess it wasn't dusting, but he definitely won it. He got some good jabs on me, but there was no like dropping anyone or anything like that. But the big fella, he had a good jab on him, and he's a southpaw too, so it was really hard to get. This was back before I knew a bit more about boxing. It was really hard to get in on his reach, especially him being a southpaw, because you don't want to... If you jab with a southpaw, he's always going to win that because he's closer to you, whereas you've got to throw a straight right to... When he jabs, you want to throw a straight right rather than a jab back. But yeah, no dusting. To be honest, I was the only one... Everyone else fucking pussied out, and I was the only one... Like, they went through a bunch of names, chanting a bunch of names to get in there, and I was the only one that was like, well, fuck yeah, I have a crack. Gotta remember, Dryl's fucking way... bigger than me, but I love Dry. Absolute legend of a bloke. Fucking incredible player. And he's with us now. But yeah, it was fun. If you don't fucking put the gloves on once in your life when you're on the beers with the boys, are you even mates? Just fucking have a crack and it's all good. Chris Thompson, what position did you play in your soccer days? Right attacking midfield. Not as Kempy, does Simon Mattering have a bazooka? I don't know, actually. Stacey Green, Hundy on the Warriors tonight. What do you reckon, brother? Oh, I don't know. Storm are playing pretty good. I wouldn't be putting 100 on the Warriors tonight, unfortunately. RSM from YouTube. Hey, Kempy, surely some blame has to go to Bennett. He signed Milf Bird Boyd to big money. Yeah, he signed Milf Bird Boyd to big money, and when he in 2018 when he left, they were one win away from the minor premiership. So he was getting the best out of that side. Bird is not his fault because Bird was injured, and there's nothing that he can do about that. Boyd, under Bennett's guidance, was one of the for most of his career was one of the best fullbacks in the game. Milford, people forget Milford, 16, 17, 18. He had good years there. So like the people that want to lay blame at Bennett, it's like, well, hang on a sec. The year that Bennett left, they were one win away, so 2 points away from the team that the minor premiership. The year that Seabold came in, so he had the same roster as Bennett. They made the 8, but I think it was one of the first times a club has made the 8 when they lost more games than they won. So how is that Bennett's fault? Like, how is it when he took the same roster that came 5th but was 2 points off the minor premiership? He takes the same roster and they come 8th and have a losing percentage record. And then the next year, we all saw what happened next year. They won the wooden spoon. Like, people just, like, that's just utter insane to say Bennett had anything to do with that. Yeah. Boyd Davison, sacking Bennett was the dumbest thing we ever did. Fucking absolutely. And also, it's not just about the sacking of Bennett that was the issue. It's the way they went about it. They didn't need to move him on a year early. He wanted to stay, the players wanted to stay, and yet they moved him on a year early. And so Wayne Bennett is the Broncos. He represents what it means to be a Bronco. So to treat him like that, you're basically treating what it is to be a Broncos like that. So how can these new young guys come in and understand what it is to be a Bronco when, we've basically just spat in the face of what it was to be a Bronco by the way Wayne was treated? And again, I don't know the inner workings. I don't know what did or didn't happen, but it's the optics of it, what it looked like it happened. Wayne was saying he wanted to stay and they wanted him to go. Now, maybe there was something else going on, but all that matters is what we think was going on. They should have kept Wayne there a year longer. They should have kept him in the loop when they were trying to sign someone else, because that was the agreement. It was that Wayne said, if you sign someone else, you keep me in the loop and we can set things up for it. And they didn't do that. And so you look at the Rabbitohs now. Rabbitohs, they have gone to a prelim final every year since Wayne's been there. Wayne went to the club and lost Greg Inglis and Sam Burgess and Sutton. You could argue Sam Burgess is one of the greatest forwards of all time. Greg Inglis, the greatest outside back of all time. And they are still exactly where they were. And not only that, he has signed and built for the future at the Rabbitohs. He has built Arrow, Latrell, Jaden Sewer. He has future-proofed that club unbelievably. Cody Walker's playing better footy than he's ever played. So to say that he was done is utter insanity. And he's proven it. The Rabbitohs are a top premiership threat under Wayne Bennett's guidance. Anthony Seibold, he took them to the same game, the prelim, but look at the roster he had. Unfucking believable roster. He's lost it, Hutchison. Oh my God. Honestly, if that was me, my schnoz would have brought me across the line. 10 in the bin! Oh, wow. Oh, Dufty.
Bit of breaking news.
Yeah.
I'm sure you want to talk about. Reece Walsh named to debut at fullback for the Warriors.
Fuck off.
Roger on the wing.
Fuck off. You're a fucking dog. Fuck you. Fuck. So Roger on the wing.
Roger has been named on the wing, yep. I'm sure they'll interchange here in the game, but...
What's doing? That's a toss-up of a header one. That's another example. Look at this. Drew Hutchison. Oh, what an ankle tap. Oh! Yeah, wow. I mean, that probably is 10 in the bin. Wow. Wow. That's a huge moment in the game. 16-6. Not only do they not score a try, they get 10 in the bin. Talk about a punch to the dick. Oh, fuck. Just hold the ball, man. Wow, that hurts. So Reece, this is another example. Reece Walsh, a bloke that couldn't get even a fucking look in at the Bronx, is now starting at the Warriors, a team that's above us, and they're finding ways to get him in there whilst they have one of the greatest fullbacks to ever come out of New Zealand. He is the greatest fullback to ever come out of New Zealand. I just don't get it, man. I don't get it. I know it, fuck. That's another thing. Look at the smart decision from the Warriors. They're prepping for life without Roger. Why wouldn't you, at the start of the year, you put Jermaine Asako back there. Jermaine is a great player, but he is a winger in my opinion. He's a great winger. Reece Walsh is one of the best fullbacks coming through. Start him at the year and say to him, we'll start you if you resign. Keep you happy. We value you, want you there. Reece Walsh couldn't even get a start when we didn't even have a full-time fullback there. These decisions I just don't get, man. I don't understand it. I know he got offered a lot of money at the Warriors, but at least do everything you can to keep him by starting him there. And then if he goes, he goes. Or if he struggles, you go, look, we gave you a crack and you struggled. Reece Walsh, people are asking who Reece Walsh is. He's one of the best young fullbacks in the NRL. He played for his country. He's played for Queensland. He's a fucking gun. He was a gun in their trials as well. I don't understand it. Anyway, here's what it is. Shine Tiltson's Collins says, hopefully Walsh has a good game, but we will pump his brah. Brent Webb is the greatest fullback for New Zealand. Notice that's absolute nonsense. That is Notice, punch yourself in the face. Brent Webb was a great fullback. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck is arguably one of the greatest fullbacks of all time. Give yourself an uppercut. That is absolute nonsense, bro. Fuck, oh my God. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck is undoubtedly the greatest fullback to come out of New Zealand, and it's not even an argument. On his day, he would be as good, if not better, than Billy Slater, Jared Hayne, Tedesco, Darren Lockyer. Roger he's the first New Zealand Warrior to win a Dally M. Come on, man. You're being silly now. You're being silly. Inside the 40. Here we go. I'm going to commentate a cliche. Dragons need to be the next to store if they want to win this. Well, fucking obviously, bro. Obviously. Webb was born in Cairns as well. Yeah, I think Webb's Indigenous, isn't he? Could be wrong. Apologies if I'm wrong. Yeah. But, okay, don't get me wrong. I'm not discounting Webb. Webb's fucking fantastic. Great fullback. But the Schnack is fucking incredible. Yeah, I mean, Boyd Davison, put RTS in a premiership winning system and he would be the best of all time. You know what? Maybe. You know what? That statement, whether you would disagree or agree with it, it's still a reasonable statement. You know, it's a reasonable statement. If the Dragons score next, they should win this game. Oh, there he is, brother Norman Sims. He's made a break. Oh, it's head high. Oh, fifth tackle. These fifth tackle options are, wow, really hurting them. Broncos are on top here. Oh, my God. Dragons are on top here. I knew that was wrong as soon as I said it because it's been very rare this year, unfortunately. RTS is as good as my left nut. Hayne playing all day from Stub Boss. Yeah, I mean, Jared Hayne is fucking, like, as a footy player, when he was on, there's no better run of form. I would argue 2018 Tedesco rivals it, not because of the specific performance, just because of the big plays that Tedesco made. Like, don't get me wrong, individually RTS was fucking amazing in 2018 or 19, I forgot which one. But he made two massive plays in Origin and the Grand Final, two of the match winners. Whereas Hayne, like, you know, I know they're playing against it's a Barry Crocker. Oh my God. I think, put it this way, if Hayne, I mean, we already think it's the greatest year of all time, but imagine that year. Oh, Walker's done it. He's done it. Talk about a magic. Nah, I don't think he gets it down. I think the fact that he keeps fighting, but this is what you want from you. Let's remember, Sam Walker's 18 and hot to trot. Look at those baby blues. People are getting lost in his baby blues. They're staring at it as they're defending, and they're getting lost. Thoughts on the light yellow, blue jerseys? I mean, they're great because they're ANZAC jerseys, but I don't mind them, eh? This is a great try saver if he gets it. Oh, core strength. Nah, I don't think he gets it down. Oh, there it is. Oh, the big booty. Rovalawa's big booty gets in the way. The glutes. Yeah, Jared Hayne, if he the thing that not smashes, his legacy in rugby league, I'm not talking about anything else, rugby league is incredible, but could you imagine if he played a Storm that wasn't massively over the cap and they win that grand final? Wow. I mean, talk about folklore of years. That year for him, 2009, was so fucking amazing. Sam Walker for Bloke FC next year. You deleted it. Apologies. But yes, Sam Walker absolutely will be considered for Bloke FC. Reece Walsh is also a Bloke FC. He's also a Bloke FC contender. Andrew Glover, love the stream. Kempy, only wish I had Bloke in WA. Trust me, we're working on it. So we have it in ALM. In WA, we have it in ALM, which means that we can distribute to any independent liquor stores. The only problem is they haven't ordered it yet. So once ALM order it, that's when we'll be in WA. So we're super, super close, man. Like, fucking so close. Touched the ground. Wow. I don't know where the evidence was, but fucking who cares? Sam Walker. What a fucking game from Walker. He's got 2 try assists and and a try. Incredible. 18-year-old half, Anzac Day clash. Look at this. Dummy. Oh, great stuff. Jeez, they can develop them. Imagine when Kiri's back, bro. So fucking good. Bro, imagine the chicks this guy's going to get. Oh. Bro, like, think about it. Think about this. Like, you're 18 years old, guaranteed to be on a milli. You know, your next contract, you're going to be $1 million a year. You're 19, 20. Whenever he gets his next contract, let's say it's 2 years, and you're living in Sydney, and the chicken babes are fucking loving you. Could you imagine? And like Instagram and like Tinder and all that kind of stuff. Like the dating these days for these young whippersnappers is just outrageous, honestly. Honestly, you'd almost want him to be celibate just so he doesn't fucking lose his head in Sydney. Hot chicks. Who's your next guest on the potty? Can you get Marty Lang on? Yeah, I'm going to try. I'll try to get Marty Lang on, 100%. I might message him later today or tomorrow. Christopher KB24. Roosters have the most dead fan base. Yeah, I think they're proper. They've got a bit of decorum, the Roosters fan base. I would love to do a study where, like, you know, if they could like study like how rich is each fan base. And I know immediately everyone's going to be like, Roosters fan base would be fucking poor as. Rabbitohs fan base would be poor as. Like, I don't know. There's like Rusty's not poor. He's rich as shit. Put in the comment section, who do you think has the richest fan base? Richest fan base. And who do you think has the poorest fan base? Oh, Nigel on YouTube. Sam Walker has a girlfriend. Heartbreaking scenes for the lovely ladies of Sydney. Rowan Hopkins, does Butcher get the try assist for that one? I don't think so, Rowan. Sean Workman, if Sam Walker does a goosey, I will come in my pants. He didn't say the come in my pants bit, but he made the emojis for it. Stacey Green, I've muted the game commentary because I dig your flow on Real Talk, Kempy. Awesome, bro. Thank you, Stacey. I appreciate it. Look, this is something that, like, it's going to take a lot of people a while to get used to it. You know, it's just a different way of consuming content because, like, we can interact with the comments, talk about a bunch of different stuff, and sometimes commentary can get a little bit boring, to be honest. Like normal commentary, no disrespect. I know there's a place for it all, but I like to feel like I'm watching it with, like, you know, someone. Length of the field here. Oh, there he is. Great. See, that's a great play from Dufty. You know, staying up with the play. Oh, sir. You can see Hargreaves is ready to kill someone. Tarek Sims. Wow, 22-6. It's like, I don't really feel like that reflects. It's a great kick, actually, when you think about it. Oh, it was on a second tackle. Oh, no. Is it the second tackle? No. I don't know when it was. Great run. I really feel for Dragons, though, because I don't feel like the game has been 22-6, but a bit of magic, a bit of USA, left foot, right foot, try time, baby, has really, from Sam Walker, has really hurt them. And also, like, they're going in sets earlier in the game, the Dragons, really lackluster. And you pay for it. Like, against a team like the Roosters, even though they're missing friggin' half their squad, you need to make sure you ice the opportunities you've got. When you've got field position, make the most of it. And unfortunately, the Dragons didn't. Those two early kicks smashed their momentum. Some other poor end-of-set decisions as well. So, like, that's the problem when you go from the good sides to the best sides. Put it this way, the Storms aren't doing that. The Storm is not wasting field position. You know, at the minimum, he tried to goosey him and didn't work out. I've been loving the battle between Ravalawa and Morris on the wing. John Morris. Is it John Morris? Brett Morris is injured, eh? Yeah, I think Brett Morris is injured. And John Morris is in centre. Fuck. No, John Morris left the Sharks and he's playing for the Roosters. Fuck me dead, Matty Waterboy. You're gone, bruh. Pack your shit. Get out of here. You've just totally ruined the flow of everything. Could you imagine if John Morris came out of retirement and, like, played for a club and he made it his vendetta to beat the Sharks in one game of NRL? That would be a movie for the ages. And you, like, full Rockied it, documentary. Fuck the Sharks. Letting go of me. I can't believe the way they let go of John Morris. You can honestly almost write their season off. Like, they've almost gone, look, we're okay with it because we just don't want, really drop ball. Just little things like that. Oh, that's all right. It's a second tackle. But they need to dig into the line more. I think at the moment, I guess the only issue is Bird playing centre. Okay, so Bird's moved into centre. They need to get their structured plays better, I think, the Dragons. They're just struggling a little bit with that. Oh, that's high. That's pretty. You got to get pretty high to get around Tupu's neck. He's fucking 7 foot tall. Tom Ross, where's Lachlan Lamb? Lachlan Lamb is injured. Josh and Brett are playing. Apologies. So Brett is playing. Yeah, everyone's correcting me in the fucking comment section. Apologies, boys and girls. It's the first mistake I've ever made in my life. Kempy bra. When Curtis Siren comes back, do you move Schuster or leave him because he's going so well? You absolutely leave Schuster. Schuster has been outstanding and is actually a schmalky for Rookie of the Year. Matter of fact, I would argue that right now he's ahead just of Laurie for Rookie of the Year. Oh, that's a fucking heartbreaker. He's still going to get out. Oh, he scored a try, but then he went out. Wow. What? John Morris on the right edge there. John Morris playing fantastic for the Roosters. Pretty crazy that John Morris came out of retirement and he's dominating Ravalawa right now. Look at this. This is like the Morris brothers and Josh Morris. Like, wow. See that chase there? That's what you don't want. He could have chased that harder at Ravalawa. But again, that chase from Morris, like he's nearly 100 years old and he's still doing those plays. Like those are huge plays that you're not going to see on the highlight reel. You're not going to see, when you watch his highlights or the game highlights, but those are huge plays. They're going in now. They're going into the Dragons' end with an attacking set and they're basically going to close out the game. Big Dog Hardgreaves. Beak, have you ever spoken to the female species from the Queenslander? No, I haven't actually. I've spoken to, I've left comments on women's photos, but I haven't actually interacted with a female before. Some say that's weird, but whatever floats your boat, I reckon. 2021. From Israel, Tour. Sorry, bro, if I got that wrong. I really do apologise. Who would lose their shit more? Bellamy winning by 6 against the Bulldogs, or Ricky Stewart losing to a bad call? Oh, Bellamy's blowing up when they win. So of course Bellamy. What's doing here? Lindsay Collins, the big dog. Sorry guys, I was reading comments then. I missed it. Here we go. Hooker gets out. Way too much time. Yeah. In situations like that, you can't allow the hooker to have this much time. See, they both went the wrong way. See the markers. See Tarek Sim and Blake Glory. They both went left, or they both didn't. One of them didn't go right. Whereas if one of them goes right, he can put pressure on Verrills, which makes that pass way harder. Because the whole reason why that pass works. Look at this. They both go left. See. Big issue. If they don't do that, he can go to Verrills and make him pass earlier, which means that Lindsay Collins doesn't hit the ball at the line. He hits the ball a bit away. Dragons get time to adjust and most likely hold him up. So just a lack in communication, because usually when on your 10, you should only have one marker. If you do have two markers, you have to talk to each other. And clearly the back marker didn't tell Sims that you go right. So yeah, that's unfortunate. Luke Hutt, do you still have the bar? No, we sold the bar, not Bloke in a bar, but we sold the equipment to the bar and moved on from that last year. Man, crazy. What's crazy. I didn't see this Roosters winning by this much. And what's also crazy is I said last week, I'm pretty sure it was the Storm they played last week. Yes, there was a blowout towards the end, but for 60 minutes, the Roosters hugely undermanned, took it to the Storm, and it was a grind. I don't think the Roosters are out of contention yet. I think that, they could still win the premiership. Who knows? You got to remember, first year for Walker, he could develop dramatically over the next few months. I don't think they're out like a lot of people say they are. I think they're still showing signs of a top 4-6 side. There he is, Reece Walsh in the corner. Time-wise, 23:01, 23, 22, 59, 58, 57, 56, 55, 54, 53, 52, 51, 22:50. Beak, thoughts on the Cows going 3 in a row? Look, I think it's great. I think that I spoke about it earlier in the year. I said that if the Cowboys lose a few games, few more games, Peyton will start cleaning out. And what did he do? He started cleaning out. Morgan retired, but I think that, the Cowboys would have kind of not wanted him to retire. No way at all. But I think that they would have gone, look, if you're not happy and you're struggling and, your shoulder's gone, there's no point in fighting on, especially when you're on this much money. And then obviously they got Maguire. The Clifford is leaving. So I think that it's good signs for the Cowboys, but we just have to wait until they play a top-tier side. You know, I think there's a big gap between the top 5 and the rest of the NRL. You know, so you look at the Dragons, for example. They finally get up against the Roosters side. That is a top-tier side, and they're getting quite handily beaten. Whereas, you know, last week you could have said, you know, the Warriors aren't necessarily a top-tier side, and they hung in there. The weeks before that, they were playing, you know, some of the bottom-tier sides. So, look, good signs for the Cowboys. It's better than losing, obviously. And now Peyton's got something to build off. It also makes it, if they can get a few more wins as well, it makes it much easier for Peyton to go into the market. Here we go, Bird. No, Manu. Ussa. Is Manu at fullback? Oh, yeah, Manu's a fullback. Pretty fucking handy replacement. Fuck me dead. What's incredible too, the Roosters have done this without Tedesco. That's pretty fucking amazing. So yeah, good signs for the Cowboys, but I wouldn't start getting my hopes up. They've been against not the best sides. I know the Raiders, the Raiders are usually a good side, but they've been nowhere near their best this year. So look, good signs, but don't get your hopes up just yet. John Garbian, should Reed Mahoney be in the big dick energy conversation? Absolutely. I mean, Reed Mahoney is absolutely in the big dick energy conversation. And I have that conversation daily. And daily, Mahoney's name is suggested. I even request pictures from him just to make sure. He never answers them, but maybe one day he will. No, Reed Mahoney's been fantastic. The only issue is it going to be the Cam Smith? It's going to be the Cam Smith problem where, you know, Gissy. Oh, fuck. It's going to be the Reed Mahoney problem, the Cam Smith problem where Harry Grant is so fucking good that he may keep Reed Mahoney. Oh, what an offload. He may keep Reed Mahoney out of that Origin side. If you didn't have a guy as good as Harry Grant, like killing it, like, you know, once in a generation talent, I think Reed Mahoney absolutely should have been in that Queensland side. But unfortunately, I just think Harry Grant, it just offers so much that I think he might be in the squad, but yeah. Yeah, Luke Hutt, totally agree about the Roosters. Won't win the comp, but you would hate to play them in semis. Absolutely. Roosters are going to be the nightmare side for every fucking team because, you know, subconsciously people have tried to write them off, but fuck, have a look at them. They're beating the Dragons 28-6 and they just lost Tedesco. Like, talk about, you know, people always say, oh, Roosters buy premierships, buy this. This is pure culture. Like, they don't have Tedesco. They don't have Boyd. Jake Friend retired. You know, they're missing a bunch of their players. Luke Keary is gone. Bradley's only back 3 games back. Verrills is his first game back or his second game back. Oh, sir! Crichton has absolutely fucking flogged him. Wow. I mean, is that a shoulder charge? I mean, let's have a look. Let's have a look at the replay, Vossi. Did he... Us! Yeah, that's good tackle. His arm was wrapping. The only reason why it didn't is because he shot him so good. Look at that. Boo! Fuck yeah, bruh. That is big dick energy right there. Big swinging deck. His dick was swinging after he hit him. You could see it swinging around. Nearly hit him in the face on the ground. As he stepped over him, his schlong nearly turkey slapped him. So Alan Davis, he says Eels Panthers grand final. Yeah, I mean maybe. I think Eels Panthers. Yeah, I mean, look, I would love to see an Eels Panthers final. Could you imagine a Western Sydney grand final? Talk about arousal. Holy shit. That would fucking be incredible. I do think the West needs a final. I think, you know, because the Broncos probably won't make the finals. They definitely won't. But I do think that it would be good for rugby league because Western Sydney is such a heartland for us to have 2 West Sydney teams in it. Just like it was good for rugby league when there was 2 Queensland teams in it. So I just think it would go off. The two finals I'd love to see. Roosters versus Rabbitohs. Before I pass on into the next life, if there is fucking a next life, I want to see Roosters versus Rabbitohs because I just think that would be fucking incredible. And I want to see a Western Sydney grand final. You know, your Eels versus your Panthers, even a West Tigers versus Panthers. West Tigers versus Eels would be a fucking crazy grand final. Great kick. Fucking great kick. That was a great kick by Kavalu. Cody Ryan, the organic schlong. Yeah, absolutely. You absolutely know Angus Crichton's schlong is all organic. It's never had a chemical in its life. It's pure organic. Look at this kick. Look at that. That's great. Dustin Stewart, Beak, do you remember who put the biggest shot on you in your career? Biggest shot. Oh, I forgot his name, but it was this guy that played for the Dragons. I got an inside ball off Lockie. And I did a 360 in the air, and I still got a scar from where his head hit my head, because it was a fucking bell ringer. But bruh, I got up. He's lucky I didn't go skits. I would have gone skits, bruh. He's lucky all the boys are holding me back because I was about to fight him. And bruh, you don't want to fight me, number one shadow boxer in the country. From Ben Parker, Cronulla made contact with the head. Crichton was wrapping his arms and made no contact with the head. Yeah, I think, yeah. I mean, they're not even similar, not even close. Crichton didn't even get close to the head, and also his arm was wrapping a bit more than Talakai. Zach Scriber. Hey, Kempy, what was the difference between the hit and the last night's? That hit and last night's. Zach Scriber, they're not even the same, bro. Like, Crichton arm wrapped way more for one, and he didn't even get close to his head. Whereas it's touch and go. It's still unsure whether Talakai hit his head. Adam Price, who was and is your least favourite team to play against? Well, when we played, it was the Storm, because when I played the Storm, it's when the wrestle was first introduced and the rest didn't know what was going on. So, like, you would be getting fully grappled and the rest were doing nothing about it because they didn't know. They just thought it was a normal tackle, but your fucking neck is being cranked. So, yeah, definitely playing the Storm. It's nowhere near as bad as it used to be, and everyone wrestles now, so you can't really, like, yes, it was introduced, but it's done. It's in the game. Everyone wrestles now, so there's no one worse than each other at it. Great pickup by Ravalawa. Really, really disappointing for the Dragons, because this is a game that they could have won this game, and now they're 28-6 down. It's fucking crazy. From Alfred Naputo. Sorry if I got that wrong, bro. Doesn't help that Talakai's right fist were closed. Yeah, absolutely. Beak, did you get the chance to play in an ANZAC match? I honestly can't remember. I'm sure I would have. Like in 2008, I should have. And even with the Warriors, I probably should have. It's just so hard to remember, bro. Like, it all blurs into one, but... What's round this? Yeah, I'd say for the Warriors, we played the Storm, I think, and we drew. And then the Broncos, I would have in 2008. Chris Key, hey Kempy, any chance you can replace Blocker as Fox Sports commentator? Boys, I fucking love doing what I'm doing. I think it's great. Mainstream stuff is fantastic, and who knows? Like, I don't know, maybe one day. I'll never say never to anything, but I'm fucking stoked to do what I do. To be totally honest with you guys, this is just being straight up. If you all buy the beer, we will grow. Everything, like, look how much the content has improved over the last year or so. Oh, great stuff from Manu. Wow, great try. But look how much Bloke and Bars content's improved, over the last year, and that's all from you buying the beer. So, like, if you want the footy landscape to change, grab the beer and we can change it. That's just me being 100% straight up. Like, then there's no need, like, the more resources that I can to grow this network and change the way footy media is portrayed and the way you can access players and everything, the more I can do. So, like, whenever I say you grab the beer, we can keep growing this. That's just being straight up. And also, like, the more you grab the beer, then I don't have to put any ads on the podcast. Like, I say no to brands all the time. Like, I say no to hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and this is facts, like, just straight up facts. Hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, because I'm trying to keep as much integrity as possible with the promise that I make you guys. Like, if you buy the beer, I'll keep this clean as possible, and I'll try to make this a positive network that can give you the best content that you can possibly get. And that's just me being 100% honest, guys. Like that's the way it works. Like you get a good beer and you get good footy content. And if you keep grabbing it, I don't have to say yes to ads. The only time I have to start saying yes to a bunch of different ads is if the community stops supporting. But the community so far has been incredible, and that's given me the ability to keep building and to keep growing. So I'm fucking super grateful. I can't even. I'll never. The only way I can show you guys how grateful I am for what you've done is to try to keep providing quality content and bringing happiness into your lives. And that's just me being straight up.
Just winding back, you scored 2 tries on ANZAC Day in 2008, and you were part of a 14-all draw on ANZAC Day in 2009 with the Warriors.
There you go. 2 tries in 2008. Who against?
Against the Rabbitohs.
Fucking hell. Well, there you go, boys. I did play on ANZAC Day. Yeah. Big Red Chicken 69. Yeah, put it this way. If you don't buy the beers, I've got to get Raid Shadow Legends as a sponsor. From Ruben Harris. Big. Do the next game, please. Blocker and Brandy is hard to listen to, man. By the way, I'm buying the beer. Haha, $80 a pop to get sent over to 8. Fuck, man. Actually, Ruben, if you use the code FRIENDS, all of you guys right now, if you use the code FRIENDS on mrliquor.com.au, it's free shipping nationwide. Code FRIENDS, free shipping nationwide. So you'll get it for the price you're supposed to get it at, which is $59.99. And again, the more you buy the beer, long term, we can start reducing the price. Because at the moment, we get it contract brewed. So we literally make no money on the beer. Whereas when we can build a brewery, that reduces the cost of making the beer. And that way we can start, reducing the cost of the price of the beer. But like when we're trying to compete against like Great Northern, VB and that, these are huge corporations they're owned by international billion-dollar corporations. So they can produce en masse, which reduces the cost of production. And that's why they can make their beer so cheap. So the bigger we get, the more chances we can do with like reducing the price. Obviously, we've got a long way to go to that level, but that's just the way it works, man. Like, fuck, I wish I could do it the same price as other beers, but we're just so small right now, And we're not a billion-dollar company that, has huge fucking logistics, huge breweries, all that kind of stuff. But hopefully one day. Thanks, Dustin. I appreciate it. Chris Green, you can only buy kegs if you're like a pub because getting the kegs back is also tough. Lee Mitchell, getting the beer to New Zealand. Trust me, we absolutely want to. It's a whole nother country, bro. So like there's different tax laws, logistics, getting beer across there, it is fucking super. It's like $60 a case, man. So trust me, we are absolutely working on getting beer to New Zealand. Bro, please do a Raid Shadow Legends ad. That would be gold. Oh, fuck. I wouldn't do that to you guys. Are you planning on making any other drinks? Because I'm not much of a beer drinker. Yeah, I mean, we got plans to anything that like our audience like drinks or whatever. Absolutely. Like I want to be able to make it so that every single one of our audience can get some quality, whatever it is that they like when it comes to alcohol. So yeah, we definitely plan long term to. Viliami for Fayu. Sorry if I got that wrong, bro. Which teams do you think are going to be in the finals, mate? The grand final right now, I would say Penrith, Rabbitohs. And it's going to be, I think it'll be a hell of a final, like an entertaining as final. Have you spoken to the Blow-In recently? Reckon you make a comeback for a video? The Blow-In, he's loving life as he's as an intern as a lawyer. So, yeah. Thanks, Daniel Briggs. You're killing it, Kempy. Love your work up the Roosters. Thank you, Briggs. Appreciate it. Yeah, I would love to get Bloke in a bar in stadiums, but that's a huge, they're huge, the government, and, there's a lot going on with stadiums, let's just put it that way. Luke Hutt, this is great, mate. Do it for more games. Thanks, bro. I appreciate it. Definitely will try to. Which Raid Shadow Legends champ do you think could play Origin? I haven't played the game, so I don't know. But all I know is they're a pretty dodgy company from what I've seen. Bricks by Thomas, your opinion on who makes the top 8, if not the top 4? All right, top 8, Penrith, Storm, Rabbitohs. I think Roosters will still make it. Eels. Manly will probably make it now. Raiders, maybe. At the start of the year, I had them top fucking 4 or 5, but yeah, they've really struggled. Who else? Warriors, maybe. Titans. So those, Knights could be there too. Look, I think the 6 to 10 is probably the toughest to pick, but I think your top 6 is definitely, your Penrith, your Roosters, your Storm, your Rabbitohs, your Eels, and fucking probably Raiders. Again, I'm not sure the Raiders. Thoughts on David Fifita this season from Viliamu Feu? Incredible. He's fucking amazing. Like, he's doing shit that we just really haven't seen before. Like, the only player that has done similar things, but he's a similar player-ish. But Jason Taumalolo is the only real player we've seen bumping blokes like this. But Fifita's a bit different. He's like a stop and start kind of beast, whereas like Taumalolo is like a run it straight, just fucking bowl you over kind of guy. Ussa, that's a great try from Ravalawa. Make sure you have the result ready to go, Matt. Yeah, Nathan Davis, top 5 will stay the same as is now, years ahead of everyone else. Yeah, look, the top 5 are absolutely years ahead of everyone else. Alexander Friskar, who's getting the spoon this year? I think it's between the Bulldogs, Broncos, and the Tigers. Dion Woodhouse, big love from Cairns Campy. P.S. Every time the Broncos lose, my dick grows an inch. Big dick energy. Bro, you have the biggest fucking dick in history if that's the case. Daz, who would you pick for Queensland centres? I would go Dane Gagai and Kurt Capewell. I think Kurt Capewell was so fucking good there. Thoughts on RTS? Patrick Maddock, thoughts on RTS to the wing against the Storm? I just think they're trying to... I don't think he'll start there. I think that like maybe they're throwing a bit of a curveball out there, but I do think that I think maybe I'm trying to think. Maybe they'll swap in attack, swap in defense maybe, and Reece in defense will be at fullback, and then in attack will go on the wing. But I don't think RTS will stay there for a lot of the game. That's for sure. Jake Roberts, are you prepared for Hello Sport podcast on Wednesday? Fuck, honestly, it's going to be torture. Fuck those guys. Dogs. Thoughts on Pappenhuisen? Is he part of the future for Storm's success? Absolutely. That's from Bricks by Thomas. I mean, he's absolutely fucking... He's on trajectory to be similar-ish to Billy Slater. Like, I'm not saying that he's as good as Slater, he's going to be as good as Slater, but you look at the early start of their career, he's already run a premiership, he's already won a Clive Churchill. Even what's interesting, Tedesco is fucking incredible, but Billy Slater also couldn't make the Queensland side initially because Carmichael Hunt was a fullback. Now, don't get me wrong, Tedesco is further along in his career than Carmichael is. But who knows? Like, I guess the only problem is when you got Tom Trbojevic and Tedesco at fullback. The hard thing for Ryan Pappenhuisen's legacy is the Origin Arena is really where we hold a lot of weight. Like, I think a lot of Kiwis that don't play Origin, they don't get rated as highly because not rated, but their careers aren't as appreciated as much as the people that play Origin. And that's no knock on anyone that it's just out of sight, out of mind. Like, Origin is the pinnacle. We'll put it this way. If RTS was playing Origin, imagine the folklore of his career, Benji Marshall, Sonny Bill Williams. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think they should change the eligibility rule. I think it's good the way it is. But, the unfair thing for a lot of Kiwi players and Polynesian players is that they don't get as appreciated as they should be because they don't play Origin. I don't know how we fix that, but I think it absolutely is the case that a lot of the Kiwi players would be rated much higher legacy-wise if they played Origin. Bailey Brown, how far can Manly go if Tommy Bra is fit? I think top 8, absolutely. And you know what? Like, they've got the troop with Foreign firing and DCE firing, Tommy at the back there, Jake Trbojevic playing well, Marty Tapau, Ussa. They've got the troops. They've absolutely got the troops. It's just a matter of, making sure Tom doesn't get injured. Who are your Tier 1 teams from Kina Rangi? Tier 1 teams right now are the Storm, Penrith, Rabbitohs, and probably Eels. But the cream of the crop is Storm, Rabbitohs, and Storm. They're the I think if one of them doesn't win the comp, I will be very fucking surprised. Because I think they're still a level above. I know the Eels beat the Storm, but I just think they're a level above at the moment. Brendan Clark, should the Tigers sack Madge, and who would be the best available coach? I don't think they should sack Madge, but I think that a different approach is needed. I think that maybe the coaching staff and the administration of the Tigers need to review their own approach and say, look, rightly or wrongly, it's not working. So maybe we need to change things up. Maybe we need to change the way we approach things because the team and the teams before us haven't been responding. Who do you think the best buy of the season is from Logan Barrett? The best buy of the season is Isaiah Papali'i at the moment. Or Corey Thompson. I know he came mid-year, but he's been great for the Titans. I think Isaiah Papali'i, though, is probably out and out the buy of the season just due to his price and that. Benji Marshall's been fantastic as well. How do you think Walsh will go next year for the Mighty Warriors? I think Reece Walsh will be fantastic next year. He's a gun. Queensland wingers, surely Felt gets a start from Dustin Stewart. I think it will be Holmes, and I would even argue at the moment, like right now, if I was going to pick right this second, I'd pick Corey Thompson as the other winger. He basically leads the comp in a lot of stats outside of Brian To'o. He's got 200 plus metres. He's second in tackle, third in tackle breaks, second for wingers in tackle breaks. He is playing outstanding, 6 tries. So right now I would go Holmes, Thompson, but it's still, I'm not sold yet. Like I do think that Holmes has basically locked his position in. But the other wing is free, and you're obviously between Felt, Coates, and Thompson, I think. Yeah, Luke Hutt, I know Thompson was there last year, but didn't Thompson go there mid-year last year? That's what I'm saying. I said, I'm pretty sure Thompson went mid last year. So, you can count him towards this year's signings. Thoughts on Titans after South loss? Look, I thought it was decent. I thought they were solid. I think they really hurt themselves in the second half, and it proved to themselves that they've got a long way to go if they want to be considered one of the better sides. The good thing is, though, they were there till the end, and the Rabbitohs are a premiership threat. So, look, if you're getting beaten by one of the premiership threats, you can be pretty happy with that. Sorry, boys, just got to post the results when it comes up. But yeah, I think Dragons will be incredibly disappointed with this result because they were absolutely in the game, and a few poor decisions when they did have field position has really cost them a blowout score. If they capitalise earlier in the game around the 20 to 30 to 35 minute mark, if they capitalise on the field position they got, they would have absolutely not got beaten by the way they got beaten. Boom, game over. Look, I think this is really disappointing for the Dragons. They were there and they had the opportunity to get the job done. Unfortunately, eventually, but the Roosters fucking fair play to them. This is proof of how good Roosters' cultures and system is. Yes, they are good in the market. Yes, they buy correctly. All that kind of jargon. But this was evidence of a fucking quality side down on troops, getting the job done convincingly against a Dragon side that wasn't playing that bad in the first half. So massive win for the Roosters, a lot of confidence. Sam Walker, fucking fantastic. I think Roosters will come away from this game very, very happy. I think the Dragons will be extremely disappointed and back to the drawing board. They started the year so well, but now they're 2 losses in a row, especially this loss, a very convincing loss, and one that their choices, they didn't get blown off the park by the Roosters, not at all. Their own choices kind of got them in this position. So, great signs for the Roosters. Again, you can't knock their systems, their culture, and their discipline. Down on troops, and they get the job done. Sam Walker did what he needed to do. He continues to develop. yeah, so I just think that Dragons back to the drawing board. I think it's a reality check for the Dragons. You know, they should have won last week, and then they come into this week and they get blown away in the end there, and so they really need to go back, regather, and show that even though they started the year really well, they've got a lot of progress they need to make to be where they want to be, where they can be. Again, it's not like alarm bells for the Dragons. It's not sitting here going, oh, you know, the Dragons are gone, this, that, and the next thing. Not at all. Absolutely not at all. But you know, they set a standard for themselves in the first full week, and unfortunately these last 2 weeks, they haven't continued to meet that standard. I think Hunt coming back next week is a huge back. But yeah, we got Storm v the Warriors now. I think it'll be a cracking match. I'm probably Pappenhuisen out really hurts the Storm. That really does hurt the Storm. Jennings, Carr, Hughes, Bromwich, Smith, Grant coming off the bench again. Finucane back is big. Finucane back is really big. I am going to go the Storm. Oh, fuck. Man, I think this is going to be a massive game. I'm going to go Storm. I think the Storm, but I think the Warriors, without Pappenhuisen, Storm are a different side. Man, I'm fucking parched as fuck. Oh, my God. My throat's killing me, man. Tohu out does hurt. Tohu out absolutely does hurt the Warriors because he is fucking incredible. Like I was talking about before, like if you play for the Warriors, because you're in another country, it's no one's fault, but you're in another country, so sometimes it can be out of sight, out of mind. If Tohu Harris was at a fucking Australian club, bro, he would be getting sucked off every weekend by the commentators. He is such a fucking good player. Such a good player. It's going to be really interesting. The schnack on the wing. I wonder what... Like, if he actually plays long-term wing, talk about the balls of the Warriors looking to develop Reece Walsh. Very, very interesting to see them to do this. Like, I understand why they're doing it, but, like, they can still, you know, like you'd think that, you know, they can still make the 8, all that kind of stuff. So to risk this young gun coming forward, risk this young gun, it's very interesting. Very interesting. What do you reckon, boys? Stay around and watch a little bit or fucking bounce? Get back on Facebook. Jake Roberts. Massive difference in comp 2 weeks back. You could easily name your top 8, but after this round, it's definitely a lot harder. Roger said Nathan Brown that he'd play on the wing to help with Walsh's development. I mean, that's great, but fuck, man. It's a huge, mate, it is a massive call. It is such a massive call. Bruh, stay around. I feel like I've been fucking deep throating the devil for the last 8 minutes. Townsend, legend. I will do. Here we go. Fucking Hello Sports head kick soon. That's what they said. Because I said in my story, Hello Sports, should I fight Hello Sports to get my manhood back after the Broncos went down and the Manly won so much? They couldn't head kick a fucking high. They couldn't hit a high rise, these blokes. Like, I'm back in me 1 verse 2. What do you reckon, boys? 1 verse 2 against Hello Sport. How long until the actual match? Oh, fuck. Honestly. Just wait a sec, boys. I'll be right back. It's 15 minutes though, boys. That's fucking ages away. So what, 6:15 the game starts? Fuck me dead. I do want to see him start. That's the only problem. Chad Ryan, Lockwood. How did Broncos culture and legacy get destroyed so much during COVID break last year? We are pathetic since that break. It happened way before the break, bro. Like the year before, in the Seabold's first year, we had a losing record and we made the 8. We were already in trouble. Like it was just exposed us. Like we just got we put it this way: if we didn't make the 8 the year before, a lot more people would have been worried about the Broncos. Like, oh fuck, they went from 5th to not making the 8. But making the 8 in 2019, it masked our issues. But when you look at it, we literally had more losses than wins, and we made the 8. So it was more a case of the year being a poor year. It masked us. And then the next year, we continued to get rid of our veteran players. Like, Cody Nikorima got pushed out of the club, and like he's going good at the Warriors. Imagine how much we could use Cody Nikorima right now. Nikorima and Milford, yes, they weren't, breaking the world apart, but they were still finishing in the top 6. So I just, I don't know. Yeah, you know what? Let's chuck on some highlights. I don't know how we do that. Can we can you put like a screen on my screen? A video? Huh?
What highlights do you want?
Let's watch. Tell me what highlights you want to watch. Can you put a screen on so that I can see it though?
Yeah.
You can?
I can put it over you.
So they can see what I'm looking at?
Oh, nah. I can't get that.
What, on OBS you can't do that?
I mean, I'm sure I could.
Because it's all being recorded off OBS, correct?
Yeah, but I need the feed for that.
For what?
For what you're watching.
No. Oh yeah, you're right, because we'd be watching this. Trying to think. I mean, I could probably watch. Actually, yeah, I could watch it on here. If you put it on your computer there, I could watch it on this stream here. Do you know what I mean?
True.
Tell us what highlights do you want us to watch, guys? And we'll watch it. Not a whole match or anything like that. Jesus. You guys are bloody mental. Tell you what, you're bloody dickheads, mate. Reece Walsh highlights. That's a good one. Let's watch the Reece Walsh highlights. And I'll just put this up at full screen. I've actually already reacted to Reece Walsh's highlights, but best punch-ups. That would be cool. We'll watch Reece Walsh highlights in celebration of the young, arousing Lana Rhodes highlights. Who's that, bro? Who's Lana Rhodes? I'm a pious, very committed man in my relationship, mate. I don't even know who that is. Kempy highlights. Nah, that's Derek. I look like a fuckwit. Watching my own highlights on stream. Talk about a fuckwit. Mia Khalifa. Is that a rapper? Mia Khalifa. Let me Google Mia Khalifa. I'll see who she is. Or he is. Benji Marshall, 15 minutes of mayhem. We'll watch Reece Walsh highlights, boys. But if you've got any other questions for me, shoot. Thomas was there last year. Yeah, I know. I said that. What are your thoughts on Reynolds and the drama with his contract? I think it's crazy. I don't understand. Unless there must be more to it. Because in my mind, I cannot for the life of me understand why the Rabbitohs won't sign him for 2 years. I honestly cannot. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. So it's crazy to me. Unless he wants 3, if he wants 3 years, I can maybe see where they're coming from. But if he only wants 2 years and they're not giving it to him, it's kind of like, bro, what's doing? Just give him 2 years. It makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me. And I think that even 3 years is reasonable. There he is, the baby snack. Baby snack. We got Roger Tuivasa snack and we got baby snack beside him. Man, I hope he kills it. Okay, there he's up. All right, yeah, we're watching it. All right, can they see that? They can see that. Oh, it's off the left foot. They could see that. I could see that. there we go. We're back here. Offload. Oh, it's off the left foot. Let's fucking go. That late footwork is so good, bro. You don't understand how hard that is. Here he has a hooker. Wow, he's quick. Oh, it's off the left foot. Crosser. Put the bumper bars up. Short side. Strong. He's just like so nippy. I love that he gets in and works hard too. Look at that. Wow. He's got a bit of will to that. Go, son. Try time. Good bend too. Oh, the layer up before try. I love a good layer up before the try. He's good. Boom. Oh, in a way. That's fucking arousing. If he scored, he scored. Oh, that was scored by 5 meters. What's up?
Stand 5. Here we are, 10. Oh!
4. Wow. I love that. Like, even like little things like him bending when, oh, what a pass, bro. Like, bending like at full flight. It's much harder than people realise. Look at that. Look how receptive he is. Like, dangerous. See that guy that just passed him? He got re-signed, I'm pretty sure, on a long-term deal at Broncos. Try time, baby. Queensland. He's so dangerous because he can do things at speed, you know, like, all right, what other highlights do you want to watch, guys? Let us know what other highlights you want to watch. Let's put up Roger Tuivasa-Sheck highlights for now. Look at the baby snack. Oh, wow. That's a good-looking man. Who is Lana Rhodes, honestly? Is that a women's rugby league player? I don't know whether I should like be quiet during the... And cheers to our ANZACs. Cheers to our ANZACs, honestly. Absolutely incredible the sacrifice they've done for our country. Incredible. All right, get Schuster highlights up. People want to see Schuster. My grandfather, both my grandfathers fought in the war. One of my grandfathers lied about his age, so he was under 18, and he lied about his age to go to the war. That's how, like, when you measure yourself against the men that come before us, we don't hold a candle, honestly. The feats that these guys did, like, we take so much for granted in this country. We take so much for granted. Me, myself included. What like my grandfather went through, both grandfathers went through to protect us. Absolutely incredible. The ANZACs, like the bond we'll always have with New Zealand as well. Absolutely incredible what they did. My granddad was a Ratter to Brook, and some of the stories that I've read, like he never spoke about it because it must have been pretty traumatizing. But they've got a book called there's a book called The Ratter to Brooks, and what they did, just incredible, absolutely incredible. My other grandfather literally lost his wedding ring finger because he refused to take his wedding ring off. I mean, these guys were mountains of men compared to us. Lest we forget, man, honestly. When you're younger, you don't really appreciate how important tradition is and passing on and making sure that, you know, yourself and your kids appreciate the sacrifices that come before you. But I tell you what, I'll be teaching my kids about it, that's for sure. We'll just wait till the anthems are over, guys, and then we will probably watch some Schuster highlights. Man, I tell you what, I don't, just my opinion, but I don't like the name Firehawks for a rugby league side. Just doesn't, I don't know, I don't like it. What about Masvidal getting KO'd? Yeah, when he was talking about, like, you know, I know he's got to pump up a fight, but when he was saying Usman doesn't have any power in it, I was like, bruh, what are you doing? Like, Usman's a beast, like a beast. Even if he, like, doesn't have power technically, he's still got enough physical attributes to have power every now and then. Yeah, that was crazy to think that Weidman had the same injury as Anderson Silva got done to him in the fight and, like, essentially derailed Anderson Silva's whole career. Crazy, man. We'll just watch the first maybe 10 minutes just to see how Reece goes. Oh, my Gary Jack. It's killing me. I think Redcliffe Dolphins should be the extension team. If there's one team, they've got the base, they've got the stadium, they've been around forever, they've got the leagues club, they're cashed up because they're going to need it, man. Any new team is going to need a bunch of cash. All right, we're doing Schuster highlights. We're doing Schuster highlights, guys. It's coming. Here we go. Bus off the left foot. Try time, baby. Oh, look at that. What a fucking play. Wow. Oh, and then the no-looker. I did a reaction to his highlights as well. Like, he is so fucking good, man. You got to remember, he's playing second row at the moment and going really fucking well. Look how fucking good he is as a 6. They're so good that they've re-signed him. He's a fucking big boy too, and fuck, he moves well. I think he might win Rookie of the Year, honestly. He's just so dangerous. Like, look at that. Everyone had to stay off him because they thought he was going to pass. Oh, what a ball. Intercept. The big boy. Got footwork, got the offload, got the no-look pass. They got the kick. Like, look at that. That's fucking so hard to do, man. That is not easy to do. Think about the potential, the ceiling of a guy like this. Like, big body, so he can literally run as hard as a second rower, but also great ball skills. Like, the ceiling of potential of a guy like Schuster is he can be anything he wants to be if he puts his mind to it, because he's big enough, strong enough. Like, imagine, like, Wyden is a really good ball running 6, but Schuster's bigger, you know? So, like, imagine having to deal with an incredible ball running 6. Rocco Berry. What position? Is he a 7? Rocco? Playing centre? How tall is he? He must be tall. He doesn't look big. There he is. Reece Walsh, the schnack.
Rocco Berry's 191 centimetre.
Okay. Because I was going to say, fuck, if he is short, he is too skinny. Man, I got to say, Reece Walsh does look pretty good in that fucking Warriors jersey. That just might be because he's a fucking schnack. But I hope he kills it. I do and I don't. I'll cry myself to sleep tonight if he does. But also, I do want him to go well. What's the bet? Okay, from Jace Gray. What's the bet? Munster does a one-on-one strip in this game and up the storm. Fuck, Munster is just so good. I honestly have been saying it for years. He's the most valuable player in the comp. He's won, 2 premierships now? 2 premierships, still 26 years old. Fucking great defender. Just a constant threat. I think the loss of Papenhuisen is a big loss. But in saying that, the Storm can fucking lose whoever. And, who's Luke Chopper? Who's the best fender? Well, I reckon the best fender of all time is absolutely Greg Inglis. His fend is there's no fend that's better than Greg Inglis in my opinion. No fend. How long until kickoff? Man, I don't know. Kempy, bro, when will Queensland take an Origin game to Townsville? The only issue with Townsville, bro, is that, if you go there, it's cool, but then your stadium is too small, so you miss out on millions of dollars worth of revenue. So I honestly just don't ever see it happening, really. When you can sell out, massive stadiums, it's pointless taking it to, look at Harry Grant, the absolute throbber. Absolute throb nation. What was my favourite food in NZ? I don't know favourite food, but I know that the food in New Zealand was fucking amazing. And the Viaduct, there was this place called the Viaduct in Auckland, had all these nice restaurants. Their pasta was fucking outstanding. Here we go, kickoff. And kickoff is now. Here we go. I'll watch just a little bit, guys. I'll watch a little bit. And then I will go home and get naked. Prime Leilua had a solid fend. Yep, he had a fucking great... Yeah, Prime Leilua was a fucking beast. I just think, GI was the most purest fend ever, whereas Leilua was kind of he would bump around to different people. Inglis was just full motion, fluid, beautiful. Campy bra, would you box Ruben Wiki for 20k? Absolutely not. Stupid question. I'd need a few million to do that. I just want to see Reece Walsh run the ball once. And then I can bounce. I don't know. I just kind of feel like you just look at Reece Walsh, you look at the way he moves, the way he's just got and he kicked the first set. Fuck me dead. That's who we got let go of, guys. A guy that is so confident. He on debut first set, he gets the ball and he kicks it, even though he's got 2 other, Cody Nikorima is an experienced fucking player. Lomu. Was Lomu known for his fend? I thought he was more of a bump kind of guy, but I could be totally wrong. He had an incredible fend, don't get me wrong. Lomu's fend was fucking outstanding. But I thought he kind of bumped more. He could be wrong. I don't watch Union as much as League, obviously, especially back then. But yeah, could you imagine Lomu in League? I reckon he would have fucking killed it, bro. Killed it. Here we go. Oh, fuck. That was a hard kick to catch. Okay, hopefully he can pick himself back up. That was a hard kick to catch because Munster actually miskicked it. He did well to leave that because you don't want to fucking... I do think that... Munster is going to be peppering him with torpedoes. Absolutely peppering him with torpedoes. $20,000, how good is that? If Warriors can get the win, it's really interesting they're putting RTS on the wing though. That is shocking to me. What a fucking kick. That's a great kick. Ussa. So RTS, that's a huge, like, talk about having pull at the club. For him to go, I want the kid at fullback, get him learn the game and that. That is, in a huge game like this, wow, that's pretty fucking incredible. And it shows that RTS truly has, what a run by the Cheezel. Great run from the Cheezel. It shows you that RTS truly has the club's best interest at heart. You know, like, he has no reason to give his position up to a... Oh, wow. There he is, Jerome Hughes. What a kick. What a try. What a fucking try, man. That is fucking pinpoint precision and an incredible start from the Storm. Jerome Hughes. Wowzers. Nothing was on. Nothing was on. Remus Smith gets on the outside. Bit of a left foot. How you going? Business in the chest. Look at this. All starts from Cheese's run. That's fucking great. It is crazy the Storm have him and Grant in the same fucking 17. Absolutely crazy. But look at this. Like, nothing's really on. You know, great fend from Smith. You need to make that the tackle. But look at this. The speed. And then the pinpoint accuracy. Wow. What a fucking... That is scary. If the Storm have come out like that, I would be worried as Warriors fans. Absolutely. Look at that. Look at that kick on the... Like, he placed the ball so that he could kick it with the outside of his foot. That's good. All right. I'm going to wrap it up, boys. It's been here for a while. Looks like the Warriors are going to get pumped. No, I'm joking. Wrap it up. No, I'm not going to... Sorry, Jake, I'm not doing back-to-back. We'll wrap it up, and thank you so much for everyone that watched. Great game as usual. We'll be back to the normal program next week. You know, I think the boys hopefully aren't busy next week. Fucking... Make sure you grab a case of Bloke in a Bar. As I said, it's the only way this keeps going. So grab a case. Every time, every person counts. Like, every person that goes out and supports the platform, it counts. So grab a case of Bloke in a Bar. Ask your local to stock it. They can order it through ALM or ILG. And we will have the normal podcast. It's the review tomorrow with me and Finchy. Then Wednesday, it is the preview with Hello Sport. And then on Tuesday, Dean Hallertau. We will drop Dean Hallertau's podcast. But yeah, thanks so much for listening, guys. And as usual, I'll go and fuck myself. Thank you.